This looks great, I exclaimed, feeling excitement come over me. Shuichi just kept holding on to a couple of bags of groceries we had gotten before. I walked over to the clothing racks and looked at some of the choices that were on the racks. They were quite cheap considering how well some of them looked. Let's just pick out a couple of outfits because we probably won't be outside much, Shuichi whispered, making me groan. I don't want to have to be cooped up inside all because of that man who tried to attack me. Sure, it is good to be safe other than sorry, but I hate being trapped in one place with no escape.
Okay,
I said with a smile on my face. I was still worried about having to be trapped in the house. Knowing Shuichi would be there made me feel more at ease. It was nice being able to have him by my side. It feels a lot better because I always seemed to be alone. Even if I was around others, I still felt so alone. I looked back onto the rack and saw some purple shirts ranging from light to dark before going into blues, greens, yellows, oranges, and reds. It was a nice rainbow of clothes, but I knew it was better to pick darker colors because they'd stick out less. I grabbed a short sleeve shirt for me and Shuichi, blue for him and purple for me, and then a long sleeved one with a jacket. Then I took the bags from Shuichi so he could go try them on before we bought them. And this time he also picked out 2 pairs of pants as well as grabbing a couple for me to try on.
here you go. Try these on,
He said, making me flinch at his words.
What?
I asked, feeling the room around me go dark. What's going on?
The changing room is over there.
He said before he put a hand on my shoulder.
Are you doing okay?
The question made me blank for a moment before I smiled.
Yes, of course, because my beloved Shumai is here with me.
I said in a slightly hushed tone. He smiled a bit, even though he still seemed concerned about me. I sighed to myself and took the clothes with me into the changing room. It was bigger than I thought it was going to be, but that didn't stop me from feeling trapped in the room. I took off my shirt and pants to change into the ones I was going to get, but then a feeling came over me. The chilling feeling came over my shoulders and traveled down my arms. I felt so scared that I didn't even feel comfortable in my body anymore. What's this? I asked myself as the walls around me seemed to be getting closer. I moved to the middle of the room and put my arms over my head as I curled into a ball covering my ears.
It's not real. It's not real.
I whispered to myself as my eyes closed. I sat there for a long moment, feeling consumed in the uncomfortable feeling of my skin, as well as the fear of being crushed.
Koki?
Shuichi asked as he knocked a couple times on the door. I jumped at this and fell down onto my ass.
Ow!
I groaned, standing up slowly. My legs were feeling a little weak, so I held onto the wall for support.
Are you doing all right?
He asked on the other side of the door, trying the knob. I didn't lock the door because I knew he was standing right outside, but I kind of wish I did. I was standing and holding onto the wall with only my boxers on. Shuichi came in and closed the door behind him before putting his hands on my shoulders.
Kokichi?
He asked, rubbing my shoulders with his hands. I blushed at the action, but kept my composure.
Why did you come in all of a sudden?
I asked, putting a hand to my chin. He sighed and moved his face to my shoulder before planting a kiss there.
Why are you feeling tense? Did something happen?
He asked, moving back slightly, making me feel exposed. I moved out of his grasp, not wanting to talk about my fear of being trapped in small spaces, so I moved to get changed as he just watched me. I felt a little embarrassed about it, but honestly, he has seen me change in front of him multiple times, so it doesn't feel as awkward anymore.
Kokichi.
Shuichi said. I could tell by his tone he wanted more information from me. I looked back at him, pulling his shirt over my head and putting on a pair of jeans.
Oh, Shu.
I teased, putting my hand on his chest.
Why are you worrying over something like this?
I whispered, moving in closer to him. I could see his eyes widen as he closed them in anticipation. I moved my arms around his neck before gently kissing his lips.
Maybe some things are meant to be unsaid.
I whispered, planting another kiss on his cheek before pulling back again.
What?
He started before I tossed the shirt and pants at him before trying on the other ones.
We shouldn't take too long now, should we? We do have some milk after all, so best to hurry up.
I said, walking out of the changing room. Shuichi followed after me. I could tell he was still flustered because of what happened moments before, and that's exactly what I was going for.
Ready to check out?
The cashier said to the both of us in the nearly empty store. He walked over to the counter and I placed the clothes on the counter.
You both seem new here. Are you visiting?
Shuichi cleared his throat a bit before he grabbed the bag of clothing from them.
Yeah, something like that.
He said, seeming a little flustered. What's going through his head? I linked my arm in his own and pulled him out of the store, feeling a little jealous about their exchange.
Well, see you around then.
They said before I got out the door with Shuichi by my side.
What the hell was that?
Shuichi asked, looking over at me, making my face pale.
What was what?
I asked, putting a smile on my face.
You know what I'm talking about.
He said, gesturing to the store with his eyes.
Oh, you mean with the store? Well, you know we have to get some of the cold items to the fridge, Shumai. No time to talk.
I said with a laugh. He just narrowed his eyes before they softened for a moment.
Shuichi?
I asked, feeling awkward in the silence. He didn't say anything. He just picked me up in his arms and walked out of view from the town before running home. Everything went behind a blur and my head span while we were running.
Shoot.
I asked again, only to get cut off by him putting me down and opening the door for me. He put all the items we have bought away in a quick motion while I was still standing confused by the door.
Sweet.
I started, only for him to cut me off again.
It's okay if you were feeling jealous.
He whispered, pulling me into a hug. I blushed at the action. So that's why he was acting so weird. What the hell, Shuichi? I said, before he pulled back and pulled me into a kiss. I felt myself relax a bit at this before he pulled away and looked into my eyes.
It's okay. I was just flustered because I was thinking about how we're living together now, and it's kind of like we're married.
He said with a sigh before he covered his mouth with his hand.
Ah, Shuichi, how romantic of you.
I teased, poking his chest. He blushed and looked to the side.
Yeah.
He whispered, making me smile a bit. I love you so much, Shuichi, even if sometimes you make no sense, but I can't really talk.